parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. I said, in this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. You make this parade a mere charade if you're marching just for fun. Our troops must feel your thanks for real before the marching is done. They know side by side you can match their stride to the drum beat and the brass, but they're not impressed with you unless you can match their stride in class. This may not sound too diplomatic, but I cannot be more emphatic as I tell you, it's problematic when you do less than your best. Especially when it's because you put your brilliance on pause for the mere peer applause it draws from a so-called friend doing less. Quit playing, I'm saying, you know that you are great, and we know it, so show it. Don't make our heroes wait. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. For those of you who already do the things that make us proud, your nation in appreciation says thanks to you out loud. Your schoolmates should imitate the way you tap your potential. Let me try to convince them why their effort is essential. Our men and women in uniform, before, during, and after Desert Storm, always perform above the norm, anywhere and everywhere on the planet. They need to follow our heroes' lead, but they cannot lead if they cannot read. Allow me, please, to plant this seed. Don't take freedom for granted. I'm serious, I'm furious to see U.S. schools behind. Remove the clatter, it's just a matter of our making up our minds. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. We believe in you, warriors protect you to do what you must to rise. Please do your part. Please start before another warrior dies. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. They sacrifice for you. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. Please.
Good afternoon and welcome to Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org, the academic patriotism program that is dedicated to veterans and serious secondary scholars. I am your announcer, KUAW Wilson. Now, here is our host, civilian urban educator, Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much, KUAW Wilson. We have a very special guest with us this afternoon who is a missionary, Rebecca Bradley, and she is no stranger to Stoots for Boots or Wave Your Grades. And before we get into our conversation, let me indicate that it is First Saturday. And KUAW and I, and by the way, as a matter of fact, Rebecca Bradley has been a friend of the program for so long, she also realizes that First Saturdays generally feature Smart Club representatives who are introduced to us by Valencia Broaddus. And she and we were looking forward to the interaction with Minister Rebecca Bradley today, and she had an emergency. And let me tell you what you and I can share, KUAW, about the importance and appreciation for her consideration of what she said. First, the importance is of the fact that it is medical, it involves her father, it is serious, no two ways about that, and we certainly extend our compassion and condolences and all of that. But Minister Rebecca Bradley let me say something that I so appreciate about her correspondence with us. She talked about the fact that there are two very important things that we must not forget. And that is, one, to take care of those around us, certainly young people taking care of their parents, and being very vigilant about making sure that all things needed are taken care of. But that was number two. And it's very interesting because when Minister Rebecca Bradley came in, we're talking about sociopolitics across the nation today, including those things financial that we must regard. And while attorney Valencia Broadus is very involved with her family, she saw fit to remind us all that we must be careful not only to take care, but also to observe things formal that are necessary to help us to take care. And she was pointing out that in today's socio-political realm, we cannot be as sure about some things we thought were taken for granted decades ago where medical care is concerned. But young people and those older must really, really take seriously, look out for, and keep up with those things that help us take care of each other. So, at any rate, that is the reason that Valencia Broadus is not with us this afternoon. And we are truly blessed that Minister Rebecca Bradley is with us because she can even address that kind of thing in what you're doing because you're being the minister whom you are kind enough to come to us to talk to young people about entrepreneurialism and those kinds of things. But being the veteran leader that you are, you also know what I'm talking about. So let me just say, and I'm sorry I took that long to introduce the program, thank you very much, Minister Rebecca Bradley, and put that microphone to you as close as you can get it. We don't want to miss a thing. Thank you for being here this afternoon.
And thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. One of the things that we were preparing the young people for was the knowledge and experience Minister Rebecca Bradley has, not only in entrepreneurialism, but also ministry. Can you tell us something about what's going on with Minister Bradley now?
Well, thank you again for allowing me to be on the show today.
Oh, our
I
honor.
am just so excited and to be in the Lord, to be in the
Praise
Lord's
the Lord.
service. You know, a friend of mine's had knee surgery, and she has a nursing home, and so I was there this morning stepping in for her. And I used to do nursing home and prison ministry.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. I did it for
Wow.
about 8 to 10 years, and I had a crew. But over time, 8 to 10 years is a long time for people to volunteer their first Saturdays. And so it ended up with just me. And then when the last person came and said, I just can't come today, something's up, I laid in that bed and I said, Lord, I can't go to the pearly gates and say nobody went with me. So I said, I tell you what, Lord, you blessed me with a small RV that will protect me from the elements, the weather, the four-legged and the two-legged kind. I will get out and I'll continue to serve you. But I got up out that bed and I did our portion of our street ministry where we go out and pass out tracts.
Okay.
And so I
Okay.
said, well, I'll stay close to home. It was near Ruskin High School.
Okay.
And
yes.
so I tried to pass out tracts. People were zooming past me, zoom, zoom, zoom. Like I was a homeless person. Nothing wrong with what they're doing because,
Yes.
they need that extra money. And I said, you know what, Lord, bless me with that RV. I will stake my signs, and they're going to have to read them. And the reason how come I enjoy the sign ministry is because when I was in college, I wasn't saved. You know how it is when kids get away from home. We
Yes,
have
ma'am.
a tendency to act a fool. But every week when I would come home from Warrensburg, straight down not I-70, I-50, 50 highway,
Okay.
somebody would have a sign, Jesus loves you.
Okay.
You know, and that sign just pulled on my heart.
Really?
Yes, it did.
Okay,
You know,
good.
because I know where I was brought up. You know, I was brought up in the church.
Okay.
You know, my mom would take us to Sunday school, and my earliest memory was someone shaking me on their hip. And, and so I told that to my mom. She said, "Oh, that was your grandmother." And so, you know, God was in me. I knew about God.
Wow.
And so
Praise
that's
the
why I
Lord.
said to the Lord, Lord, if you bless me, you know, with this RV, I'll go by myself and I stake my signs. And he blessed me with a small Class C, so I could, you know, have shelter.
Now, at what age was this?
Oh, gosh. It was in 20.
So this
08.
is not when you were in
No, this was in
college.
my
This was-
late 40s.
Okay.
I was in my 40s then.
Okay.
So, but anyhow, I got some signs, and they kind of say, God forgives, you know.
Okay.
And it got some women on it, and I got one with a young man, you know, just praying out, "Oh Lord, save me." Then I got one with a guy preaching, "Jesus saves," you know,
Okay.
and I'm just praying that as they read those signs,
This is interesting.
you know. And so what me and my mom does whenever she can, and this was I was doing this for a few years, I would go right up here in Grandview, Truman Corners, the shopping center.
Yes.
And I pull in my RV and I stake out my signs. I put them in big silver
Okay.
buckets with flowers
Wow.
in it. It's, you know, concreted so it won't fly away. And people will come by and they'll honk the horn and keep on going, you know. But, you know, I believe in ministry. And God said, "Go ye therefore."
Yes.
And that's what we're supposed to do. Even if it's just to stake a sign.
Teaching. Please go ahead.
To tell a dying world that they still can be saved.
Teach all
You know,
nations.
so
That is
that's
so-
one of them. And then I had a youth ministry, still do. And with the youth ministry, I tried to emulate the Assemblies of God. I attended Assemblies of God here in the city.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then they had Assemblies of God up north
Right.
that had a little bit more money than we did.
Rather larger.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And so they would invite our children up to their campground once a
Okay.
year.
Okay.
And the children, they really, really enjoyed it. They got a chance to swim, and they played games. They got tickets. Then they would go inside for a little while, and they would put on a little program for them, feed them lunch.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they would take their tickets, and they would go into this tent, and they would choose whatever toy they wanted.
All right.
Based on
All
the
right.
number of tickets they had, large or small, those kids went home happy, full, and fat. Not that they, you know, really were needy, but the people up north, you know, they felt a need to give back to the community.
Now, this is very interesting because as many times as we have been blessed to have you on the program, most often we are talking about things veteran,
Yes.
very specifically.
Mhm.
Now, that does not mean any time that you have been on, it was the absence of ministry, but there was not the emphasis in what we're talking about now.
Right, right, because I had a purpose when I came here. Because I view my job as a veteran as a ministry also.
Ooh, that is so important.
You know, because we're all God's children.
Yes.
And the veterans were not getting the information
Yes.
that they needed. And I prayed again. No, I said, Lord, I said, I want one of those jobs. The jobs of those individuals who sit down and do the claims paperwork for veterans, because I was having a hard time. And I said, Lord, if I get one of those jobs, I really would love it. And the Lord blessed me.
This is interesting because that is complementary to what Valencia Broadus was advising as it relates to being prepared, understanding, and taking care of each other as
Right.
well as yourself. And by the way, since you mentioned that, I want to mention to you that Sidney Malone mentioned you and 18th and Vine.
Oh, really?
And while that is on my mind, I'll say this very quickly. Today,
Okay.
September 6th, at the Bruce R. Watkins Cultural Heritage Center, they are celebrating Deacon Johnny Cheatham's
Really?
96th birthday.
Get out. Johnny Cheatham, I like him. He and another gentleman, I cannot remember his name, they were the very first supporters of my program.
Ooh.
So I'm going to try and remember that. That's only in a
Praise
couple
God.
of days.
I'm going to
Yes.
try to get by there. They are celebrating today from 1300 to 1700 at the Bruce R. Watkins Cultural Heritage Center.
Oh, okay, wait a minute.
So they're there.
That is today.
That is today.
Yes.
And 1300 hours or 1 o'clock
1
until
o'clock.
1700.
Till 1700.
5
Okay, till
o'clock.
5. Okay, so I'm going to try to swing by there.
That would
after
be
I
so
leave here.
good. Okay. But going back to what you were talking about and the importance of it, complementing those things that indeed involve veterans, and how that also helps young people, students, understand the direction in which they might go.
When I joined the military, well, before I went in the military, I went to Central High School. And I would see these
Okay.
young ladies and these young men walking around in ROTC uniforms.
Yes.
And I just couldn't understand why a woman would want to go into the military.
Okay.
But when I went out to college, I ended up joining ROTC. And I went
Ah.
into the military, and I would really love to encourage that we go into the military, because most officers, as well as doctors, dentists, professionals, they come from HBCUs,
Yes. Yes.
And so when I went in for my 2-week summer camp, there were a lot of black ROTC members, and majority of them were from our HBCUs.
Yes.
And when I sent my daughter to one, and it clicked, because HBCUs, they will accept us, whereas other universities will reject us. Particularly to get into these doctor programs.
Wow.
To become doctors
important.
and dentists and whatever. And so they have a rich history of providing the world
Yes, ma'am.
with black doctors, black dentists, black officers, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
You name it.
And your daughter went to Jackson State University.
Yes, she did. She went to
Mississippi.
Jackson State University, and she came out with a master's in education.
Outstanding.
She met a young man. They both live in Texas, and he is a engineer, and he got a very good job, and they're both happy.
Wow, this is so interesting because Louis George Walker was smiling at the time and evidently identifies with something that you say. Come on up to the microphone, please.
Well, I surf Facebook and stuff, and I saw a young lady in there in her gown and everything and stuff,
She
and I
got
said,
married. Yes, she did.
yes. When you mentioned that and stuff, I said, yeah, I was looking at that. I said, I know her.
There you
And
go.
I want to also say about Mr. Walker is he participates in our youth program.
Ooh,
And one year he
praise
came
God.
down and he gave twice a demonstration,
Yeah.
to the black youth. Even though we're open to work with anyone, but I truly appreciate the program that he has, because as I was telling you today about the statistics, the disheartening statistics of 319,000 black women who got laid off from February to July this year.
My Lord.
And then you had 365,000 white men to gain jobs. Collectively, white women and Hispanic women gained 318,000 jobs. That's why we need a Mr. Walker
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
to
Absolutely.
teach us technology, because who you think was very instrumental in, I think it's the global positioning system, the GPS system?
hmm
A black female.
Watch out. Come on now.
Okay. I had read a story about one of these young ladies who got laid off. She said that her last day, her job wanted her to teach the remaining minority race people how to operate the softwares she created.
My God.
You know, so that's why we need to be able to have gifts, have talents, utilize them. And this is my somewhat my purpose of trying to empower the youth.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, my sister and I, several years ago, we went into Central High School and we did junior achievement program with the
Okay.
kids.
Okay.
My sister, she works on graphics. She's a graphic artist, and we did. She printed on cups. We sold sodas, and with the youth, and they were able to make money. I would like to encourage our black youth to become entrepreneurs, because I'm a Christian.
Yes, ma'am.
As a Christian, the Lord told me that I'm a lender and not a borrower.
Okay. All right. I hear you. I hear you.
And
very
if we
clearly.
have those gifts, you
My
know, if you
God.
were, okay, so say
Thank
for
you.
instance, we had some women who's, and this is a for instance, who've been doing janitorial work for a very long time, and they got up into these management positions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes.
And they got laid off.
Wow.
They were reported to 319,000. So what are we going to do? What she's going to do is she's going to march on down there and get her contract so she can become a business owner, and she's going to compete for her job
Yes, ma'am.
that someone else, other contractor, have laid her off. And those are the things that we're going to have to do to be able to sustain our living, because most black women are head of the household. You know, we might be down, but we're not out.
You know what? This is so wonderful, and something with which
Mm-hmm.
DeQuay Wilson and I can identify
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to your presence
Mhm.
and Louis George Walker.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, DeQuay, because Louis George Walker spends time in the studio
Mm-hmm.
and tutors those who are interested in technical production
Good.
as well as social production, entertainment value, all of those kinds of things. But in a very humble way,
Yes.
taking the time that is more valuable than we can assess.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons that we enjoy the first Saturday with Valencia brought us in the
Mhm.
Smart Club
Mm-hmm.
is, you've heard me say before, children learn more by example than they do by
Right.
instruction.
Mm-hmm.
And the example that is set by Louis George Walker in this edifice is so important and so gratifying to us that we don't say it enough, DeQuay and Carl. Thank you, Brother Walker, because it's not just the skills, but these are practical,
Yes.
applicable skills that can earn you money. Please go right ahead.
I just want to thank Mr. Walker also, because this is a nice setup that you have. And DeQuay, we appreciate you learning to operate the system. She's a bad sister, y'all.
That's exactly right. Yes, ma'am. That is important.
And so these are gifts and talents that we can utilize to compete
Yes.
against the majority. you know, because I do believe I heard that when television programs have a cross section of diverse people, they would have a tendency to watch the program more.
Yes.
And so with a DeQuay,
Yes. Yes,
she
ma'am.
become a director. We can compete.
Yes, and oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. And not only in terms of what is going on right now, but one of the reasons that we appreciate you so much is because you're not thinking merely in the immediate. But what do you see for young people now? Here's a 10th grader. Here is, for that matter, a 7th grader. Your ministry is not just immediate, but you help them look forward to the next decades or so. What do they need to understand?
They need to understand that they need to learn to fish.
Okay. Okay, listen to this. Go ahead.
It's not good enough for to be given or fed a fish.
Right. You need to learn
We need to learn how to fish.
how to fish.
Whatever their interest is. Say, I like doing, you know, because the reason how come I got into the entrepreneur thing is because of my very first job. I worked at McDonald's.
Okay.
Hi, may I help you?
Yes, ma'am.
And I enjoy, you know, receiving their money, giving them their product.
Okay.
So I'm making earrings now.
Thank
and so I haven't been 100% successful. I think because I charge too little, but anyhow.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
That's what I really enjoy, helping and serving people. And so we got to turn with it, even something as minute as that being a cashier. You can turn that around in the future and create a business, find out what the community wants, and then learn the skills of becoming a manager. I would like to see more people coming out the military working at these stores that have boxes all in the aisle, not cleaned up, because the people in the military, they have that talent to manage people, projects, and things.
You know what? We're going to go to our break, but
Okay.
as we get ready for the break, it is very interesting that in our culture, entrepreneurialism should be something that we engage almost automatically, almost just. And when I think about the importance of how they now want to downplay diversity, equity, and inclusion, and DEI is something that's awful and that kind of thing, I think of Afrocentrism. And if you look at, as we say, unity, self-determination, cooperative economics, collective work and responsibility, purpose, creativity, and faith, the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba that are theoretically Afrocentric, but you better believe that those beyond us, we who are of this hue, are not the only ones who benefit by an orientation toward self-determination.
Yes.
And other people might pretend that they ignore the leadership of black Americans. But as you started out the conversation, it is not unusual to borrow some of what should be entrepreneurialism that we simply give away. We are so blessed to have Rebecca Bradley. Let's go to our break and come back and continue the conversation.
Well, it is time to remind our 7th through 12th grade students that you can win a monetary award from our sponsoring organization. Yes, we do say organization on purpose, with purpose. Stoots for Boots. You'll write an essay. Your essay title will be Heroes You Know You Didn't Know Were Heroes. Your content will identify a veteran at your school who can be absolutely anyone. Custodian, teacher, coach, absolutely anyone. If your essay is chosen and submitted by an adult who gives you permission to read it on this Wave Your Grades program, you will be awarded a monetary prize. Please send entry or inquiry to academicpatriotism@gmail.com. That is academicpatriotism@gmail.com. Now, back to our host, Carl Boyd.
Sister DeQuay, I want to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever heard me say children learn more by example? Has anybody ever heard me?
A few times.
It just happens that Louis George Walker is in the studio and giving us more reach as it relates to being able to see this gentleman's and others' examples. So please, Brother Louis George Walker, tell them how they can keep in touch with us.
Well, I want to thank you for listening to Wave Your Grades with Carl Boyd on KUAW Radio. KUAW Radio is a project of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association in cooperation with the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. And you can pick us up 24 hours a day. We do our live broadcast on YouTube and Facebook, but we also have the audio stream that goes out on Get Me Radio, the online radio box, on My Radio Tuner, and on TuneIn app. And if you have a smart speaker, tell your smart speaker to play KUAW, and you will hear us on that. You can also pick us up on KOJH from America's original jazz house right here in Kansas City, 100.5 on the FM dial. So we're just glad to have you here and glad that you're listening to Wave Your Grades with Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much, Louis George Walker, our very special guest, Minister Rebecca Bradley. And let me tell you why you are so important as we talk about the fact that in our culture it ought to be just about automatic because they brought us here
Right.
to innovate. They brought us here to work and to lead and then turn it over to someone else. But one of the things that I pray that our young people would do, and as a matter of fact, not just our young people, those who are a little older, stop in and get some gas and see who the entrepreneurs are who are running that gas station. Sometimes they don't look like us. Use your computer and call tech support. Sometimes you don't even understand the accent or the language that has been used towards us. Sometimes we take it for granted that someone else is the entrepreneur, even if we are the ones who create the opportunity for them. Help us out.
I have a lot to say on that. First off, we have to go back and look at our history.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, it's a reason why they are banning books today.
Ooh,
You know, because if you don't know where you came
come
from,
on.
you're bound to repeat the past.
Yes, ma'am.
And if we know about the towns
Ooh.
where they drop those bombs,
My
you
God.
know, down in Tulsa.
Yes, ma'am.
I had an opportunity to visit Tulsa last year. Very, very interesting. All black town. Let's say it was Leeds. You know,
Okay.
right over there. They had millionaires, what would be millionaires today, and they had movie theaters.
Yes.
They had banks.
Yes.
They had nice homes. They had hotels. You know, and so we know, if people don't know, there was an accusation, again, a black man and a white woman, you know, and so to shorten this story, they came in a few days later because the black man did try to save the young man who was in prison. Even the sheriff didn't want him harmed,
Right.
you know, and from my understanding, they did let him out under the cover of darkness.
Yes.
But the men, majority race men, they were bent on putting those black men in their place. Who are they to come up in our town with their guns to demand that we not hurt this young man?
Exactly.
So a few days later, and this is, I'm repeating the story that I heard
Yes.
from the historian down there.
In Tulsa.
A young man, yes, he had a dream. No, he didn't have a dream. He went to his daddy at night and he said, "Daddy, look like the stars are falling."
My God.
And that was the majority race men sitting outside of town smoking cigars
Yes.
because they was waiting on the countdown.
My God.
And they came in and they destroyed the city. They dropped bombs on that town. They burnt it down. It wasn't just, the 18th and Vine area,
Exactly.
but they burnt as much as they could.
Yes, ma'am.
But let me tell you, they were some resilient people.
Yes.
They looked up, the white man broke into their banks and was hauling the safes out. But hey, they didn't get all the money
Wow.
because they went to their burnt down house, went to their chimney, they pulled out that brick.
My God. It
That
is-
brick had cash.
and
You can't burn brick. And they rebuilt that town.
My God. And when you think about Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, when you think about the Harlem Renaissance, for instance, what is of a deep concern, September 6, 2025, is there is another bomb attempting to be dropped in the name of redistricting,
Oh,
in
yes.
the name of gerrymandering, in the name, as you say, of erasing history. And these things are extremely important, and I want you, who will do it much better than I, to associate the opportunity with ministry, because one of the reasons I suggested, and Wanda and I have talked about it, that I was fine when President Trump was elected, because I was saying to Wanda that God has put us in a position where if we don't understand now, we just won't. The blessing for our young people is, again, learning by example, that we have a minister, Rebecca Bradley, who is not only in the battle, but she has literally, distinguished veteran, fought for this country. And this is important for our young people to understand, because you did not do what you were doing in a vacuum. God sent you
Yes.
so that now, as he orients us towards being good followers, you have programs not only for the youngsters who might attend, say, Central High School, whatever the high school might be. And you were talking about jewelry and what else? You have some things for them.
Yeah, I tried to do just small crafts and see what the young people need to experience is how to use their hands
Okay.
to develop goods and services that will bring in money into their community, even if it's just a little bit. I remember when I was in high school, home economics. I don't know
Yes.
if they have that anymore, but I learned how
That's
to
right.
knit, and I would start knitting skull caps, and I was selling all
Okay.
skull caps. But once they
Okay.
learn that they have a gift or a talent that someone is willing to pay for,
Yes. Yes.
they can learn to make money. I want to go back to something that you had said about when we go to the gas stations
Yes.
and when we go to the hair stores.
Yes.
They do not look like us.
Thank you.
But that's by design.
Come on.
Because when we go to the agencies who's supposed to give us startup seed money, we can't get it.
My God.
We can't get it because we don't have assets because it got burned down.
Wow.
Every time we try to achieve, we get pushed back. But like I said, I'm a Christian. I'm saved.
Praise the Lord.
I serve a God.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof.
Yes, ma'am.
Everything belongs to Him.
Come on.
You know, so therefore, if I know if I live right,
Mm.
if I pay my tithes,
Yes, ma'am.
God is going to open the windows of heaven,
Come on.
pour me out blessings.
Yes.
And if I give to the homeless person on the side of the street, you know, I'm not going to worry about what he should have, could have, would have done to get him there. God said for me to give. And when I give, man going to give back to me. Pressed down, measured together, shaken up, shall they give into my bosom.
And what you have
And
done
as
for the
black
least of
people,
these.
that's what we need to do.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
need to lift one another up.
Clearly.
You need, you know, and we need to, and this is something that I struggle with, is sometimes we see wrong in our community and we don't report it,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, because, oh no, we don't want, you know, to get them to get in trouble, you know, even if it's not cutting the grass. You know, I heard our first lady talking about the broken, I think it's a broken glass theory. Have y'all heard, familiar with that? That's when in black communities, if we have buildings with broken glasses, boarded up windows, grass not cut, that puts you in a position of helplessness, poverty, thinking that you cannot get out, because poverty is a state of mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you don't have to stay there, you don't have to dwell there. But if we don't report someone, it's really not the person living there. In all instances,
Believe
it's the
that.
landlord.
Believe that.
It's the slumlord, should
Yes,
I say?
ma'am.
You know, so should
Yes,
we be
ma'am.
reporting the slumlord for letting the grass get 12 inches high? You know, because that's our community.
Yes, ma'am. And I was blessed to have an opportunity in 1999
Mm-hmm.
to move to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda and I went to Phoenix so that I could become the Vice President of Urban Education for the National School Conference Institute,
That's good.
which allowed me to work with educators in the United States, Canada, and People's Republic of China.
Mm-hmm.
August 27th, 1999 is when I was allowed to move there.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason was because I was in charge of, quote, the at-risk effort that was being projected. So I said, after they invited me a few times, I presided over this conference 7 times before moving to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
It was the at-risk conference,
Mm-hmm.
students at risk. The reason I finally went, because I didn't want to leave Kansas City, was because they were defining the at-risk student
Mm-hmm.
in descriptions that were peculiarly ethnic.
Yeah.
So from August 12th to August 15th, 1998, in Chicago School District 149, I was with principals, and I asked them, please give me a word that covers at risk, but does not use that terminology. So this is what they came up with. Learners with untapped potential. So I went back to my conference and I had a petition.
Mm-hmm.
Let us change the name of challenging students who are at risk to challenging students with untapped potential.
Mm-hmm.
There were perhaps 1,100 attendees and 980 who signed the petition. They agreed with me. That makes good sense.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people who invited me to Arizona agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when they printed up the programs for the following February after I did that, it had challenging learners with learners with untapped potential.
Mm-hmm.
And in parentheses, it put the at-risk student.
Mm.
So I want to know, well, what's going on? They were saying from various districts that they would not get an appropriation of funds to attend the conference unless it included the language. So that there are too many avenues that accuse us of being less than, even to the point of taking away funds for having the audacity to call yourself something else. So that it is not foreign to me, much of what is going on now, even to a greater degree, to convince us that we must be dependent upon someone else, and in that dependency suffer the consequences as they make changes that are not to our advantage today.
Well, you know, some years ago, I attended a conference, a nonprofit conference at UMKC, and so I went to the section, well, the class that discussed fundraising.
Okay.
And I had to say, when I left, I was incensed.
Oh, Lord.
Because in order to get fundraising, you had to show the poor black starving child.
You see?
You know, if you didn't want to use the starving child, then you had to use the 80-year-old wrinkled
My
white
God.
woman.
Yeah.
You know, it was either or, and that's how you was going to get your funds.
Okay.
And so, you know, it's the games that they play. You know, I don't understand it, but we as a people have to understand that's not us.
Thank you.
You know, it's a grift.
Thank you.
It's a grift.
And I am so glad that you are saying that, because the way God works is so wonderful.
Yes.
Because there are so many things going on in this day that prove to be to our detriment, that we are beginning to learn things that we have to learn
Right.
to combat things that are being put upon us. So the Lord is saying these are things factual from a socio-political realm that make you a permanent minority,
Right.
which causes us to have to study, causes
Right.
us to have to read, causes us to have to remember, causes us to have to cooperate. And that's why it is important to have Minister Rebecca Bradley. And please want to get your contact information.
Okay.
And if there are young people or their parents or educators who want to find out how they can join your ministry, would like that information as well.
All right. I want to say one last thing. A scripture that came to my mind a couple of times is, God said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. This is not only to the black person.
My God.
It's open to everybody.
Thank you.
You know,
so
and some
much.
people love the poorly educated.
Wow.
You know, because I heard, you know, in addition to the stats that I gave about black women losing their jobs, and unemployment for blacks is 7%, you know, that's a canary in the coal mine, they
My
said.
God.
You know, and we really got to look to God and not vote for hate, and to
Ooh, thank you so much.
and to recognize that we are one people under one, serving one God, because we are living in the last days.
Ooh.
You know, and if people, you never saw a black person before, but you hate them because somebody else said, oh, they stink.
Yeah.
You know, oh, they got germs.
Sure.
You got to see for yourself. You got to open up the word of God and say, all men, you know, God created everybody in his image. You know, when they created the Constitution, they said all men are created equal, even though they might not have been considering us, but that's the truth. It lines up with the Bible.
Yes, ma'am.
All men were created in God's image.
Come on.
But again, I'm missionary Rebecca Bradley, and I do ministry work. My number is 816-419-6825. My ministry is Home Missions Outreach Ministry. And I do attend Providence House of Worship located at 1925 Hardesty here in Kansas City. We are looking for new members. Have a wonderful pastor, and he worked with women, realizing that we are in the last days. He give us opportunity to get out and just utilize the gifts and talents that the Lord has given us. So if anyone do dial my number, I probably won't answer it, but leave a message, because I have so many people calling me, want to sell me stuff, want to scam me. So I have to listen to the messages if I don't know the number.
That is so very, very important. And I was getting ready to say something to you, and then I said, oh, that's right, this is veteran Rebecca Bradley.
Yes.
Because I was going to tell you something that happened to my brother, who was in the Air Force, and he was in Europe. I don't know whether he was in France, where it was, but this was in from 1954 to 1958. So it had to have been then about 1955, right in there, 55, 56. And wherever this was, the children were asking my brother and a friend of his who was also in the Air Force, James Bell, turn around. And they would look at each other and shrug their shoulders. What are these kids? And they'd go a few more feet, and the kids would say, turn around, turn around. And it turned out that the children had been taught that black men had tails.
Oh, yeah.
And they were asking them to turn around so they could see their tails. If you hear that once, you might chuckle a little bit, but when you hear it on an ongoing basis, you begin to say, wait a minute, this is some serious stuff.
I think that started in Germany, World War II. They were telling the women over there that black men had tails.
Is that what it was? That is amazing. But here we are in 2025, and once again, there are myths about behavior, about culture, about finances, and that's why what you do and who you are is so important.
You know, we need a we need a leader like Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yes, ma'am.
And Billy Graham.
Come on.
You know, Billy Graham. I listen to him, and he tells it in his sermon when Jesus was on the cross, before he got to the cross, when he was dragging his cross and he fell to the ground. They said, hey, you, Simon of Cyrene, come over here, if I pronounce that right. Help him. He said that was a black man who helped Jesus carry the cross. So, you know, that's why we need some leaders that can reach the non-minority race, because they need to open up their eyes and become educated.
This is so important because so often when we talk of something called, quote, a movement, unquote, and we think back about the civil rights movement, too often we think of it as being exclusively black.
Right.
But in order to traverse the scenery that confronted us during the civil rights movement, the president happened to be a white male, Lyndon Johnson, who was signing the voting rights bill.
Yes.
Even had the audacity to use the term "we shall overcome."
But didn't he tell King, you're gonna have to make me?
Yes. Yes.
That's why we can't give up.
Yes.
We can't roll over. We have to assert our rights.
You know what? I am so pleased. Of course, I'm every day 100% proud of my wife, wonderful Wanda. But among the things that I am personally impressed with is her service on the prayer committee of our church at Friendship Baptist Church.
Okay.
And they will do a sentence prayer. And sometimes I'm in a room where I can hear what is going on that call. But I mentioned in Sunday school how impressed I was with my wife when I overheard her praying for Donald Trump. And she and I are not Donald Trump fans.
Yes.
She is by no means.
Uh-huh.
But in 1995, 96,
Mm-hmm.
she was in a Sunday school
Mm-hmm.
at Friendship Baptist Church.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about behaviors
Mm-hmm.
and people who, quote, despitefully used you, unquote. And she was talking about agape love.
Yeah.
And she used the expression, but as a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that she used that expression.
Yes.
Now I use it too,
Uh-huh.
simply meaning that it is understandable
Uh-huh.
how we could, quote, despise those,
Mhm.
unquote,
Uh-huh.
who are spiting us.
Yes.
But Wanda says, but as a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
I've got to look at it another way. And Brother Louis George Walker and Sister DeQuay Wilson, forgive me for my repetition, but I want to go back to Maya Angelou.
Okay.
And she wrote a book titled The Heart of a Woman. And when they were a part of the civil rights movement, they meaning Maya Angelou,
Mm-hmm.
Cicely Tyson,
Yes.
Nat King Cole,
Mm-hmm.
Harry Belafonte, Ossie Davis, and Ruby Dee,
Mm-hmm.
all of these entertainers were the ones who would make the money for those who were leading the
Oh, yeah,
marches
they
and all
did,
of
they
that.
did.
They were a large part of that.
Uh-huh.
So, as it turned out, Maya Angelou met an African whose name was Vazumzi Mackay.
Mm-hmm.
And Vazumzi Mackay, in a conversation after observing his wife and all of those who were very, very excited about this movement,
Mm-hmm.
said, you know, I see some black people who say they want change when what they want is exchange. And what he was suggesting was we have to be careful not to be like those
Right.
who used us in a hateful way.
That's right.
You hate me, I'm going to hate you more.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what the word says.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So it is so
That was a good observation.
yes,
Very good.
Bazumzi Mackay, and this was in the 1950s during that civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
And you said one more thing, but just in case we are near the end of the program, there is something you want to leave us with that you haven't already. Please do, and we will be closing out in a
I
moment.
just want to say thank you for allowing me to come on the show today.
Our
It has
honor.
been very exciting. We didn't have a schedule, plan, or anything what we were going to talk about, but God brought to our hearts, you know, things that needed
Praise
to be
the Lord.
discussed. And I thank you. And
I
I
thank
appreciate
you. God bless you, and we're going to have you back again.
Okay.
And we want to have you back with Valencia and the young people who were looking forward to being
right.
with you. This is Wave Your Grades, and here is DeQuay Wilson.
I would like to thank our listeners, our guests, and our viewers for joining us on your Stoots for Boots Wave Your Grades program. We do come to you live every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center right here in Kansas City, Missouri. I am your announcer, DeQuay Wilson. Now our host, Carl Boyd, will close with his daily message for students in honor of our veterans from his book, Morning Messages.
Thank you so very, very much. And indeed, these are morning messages for every day of the year, 366. This is for September 6th. To students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day, September 6th. Excellent statespersons use diplomacy. Excellent students earn diplomas. To students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day, September 6th. Excellent statespersons use diplomacy. Excellent students earn diplomas. Very, very special thank you to Minister Rebecca Bradley. Thank you to Quay. Thank you, Louis George Walker. My name is Carl Boyd. Gracious God and wonderful Wanda. I'm on my way home.
God bless you.